Today in this video, we are converting paper into glucose. So let's start the video. For this experiment, we need four main materials. First, a source of cellulose, such as tissue paper, which contains long chains of glucose molecules linked together. Second, calcium hydroxide, which is used to help control the chemical environment. Third, sulfuric acid, which plays a key role in breaking the bonds of cellulose and converting it into simpler sugar molecules. Finally, activated charcoal, which helps remove impurities and improve the clarity of the final solution. Before beginning the process, the tissue paper is torn into smaller pieces. This increases the surface area of the cellulose fibers, allowing better interaction with the chemicals and helping the breakdown process occur more effectively. In the next step, I prepared a beaker with 58 milliliters of water and slowly added 98% sulfuric acid to the solution. This dilution reduces the acid concentration to around 60%, which is more suitable for cellulose breakdown. Using highly concentrated sulfuric acid can be too aggressive and may lead to the further decomposition of the produced glucose molecules. The sulfuric acid used in this process appears slightly dusty and colored, which may affect the clarity of the final solution. However, later purification and filtration steps help remove suspended impurities and improve the overall clarity of the solution. When the solution reaches room temperature, it is mixed with the prepared tissue paper pieces. The beaker is then placed on a hot plate and heated to around 50–55 degrees Celsius. Temperature control is crucial at this stage, as excessive heating can negatively affect the reaction and may compromise the results of the experiment. At the molecular level, the first stage of cellulose breakdown begins when sulfuric acid interacts with the cellulose chain. The acid donates hydrogen ions, which protonate the oxygen atom present in the glycosidic bond connecting the glucose units. This protonation makes the glycosidic bond more unstable and easier to break. The acid itself acts as a catalyst, meaning it helps the reaction occur without being consumed in the overall process. Once the bond is activated, water molecules can participate in breaking the connection between the glucose units, gradually converting the long cellulose polymer into smaller sugar molecules. As the cellulose fibers begin to break down and the paper structure starts dissolving, the reaction mixture is removed from the heat. The solution is then diluted with water, lowering the acid concentration. This step helps slow down the reaction and reduces the harsh acidic environment, preventing further degradation of the produced sugar molecules. Filter the solution to remove unreacted pulp. Before neutralizing the acidic solution, a calcium hydroxide slurry is prepared by mixing calcium hydroxide with water to form a uniform suspension. Since calcium hydroxide has limited solubility in water, it remains dispersed as fine solid particles, creating a slurry that can effectively react with the acidic solution. The calcium hydroxide reacts with the sulfate ions present in the mixture, forming calcium sulfate, which has low solubility in water and precipitates as a solid. This process helps remove sulfate ions from the solution while the glucose molecules remain dissolved in the liquid phase, allowing the calcium sulfate to be separated through filtration. After filtration, the clear glucose-containing solution is separated from the calcium sulfate precipitate. The solution is then gently heated to remove excess water through evaporation, increasing the concentration of the dissolved glucose. This step reduces the amount of solvent present and produces a more concentrated sugar solution for further analysis and testing. As the water evaporates from the solution, the concentration of dissolved compounds increases. Due to the reduced amount of water, the calcium sulfate that was previously present in a dissolved state begins to reach its solubility limit and starts precipitating out as solid crystals. This additional precipitation helps further separate calcium sulfate from the glucose-containing solution. As the solution volume decreases to only a few milliliters, the concentrated solution is transferred into a petri dish for the final observation. During this stage, further heating causes the remaining sugar solution to become more concentrated and undergo caramelization, producing a darker colored residue. In my first attempt, excessive heating caused thermal stress, which cracked the petri dish. To continue the demonstration and properly show the complete process, the experiment was repeated from the beginning using a new setup.